there were two different dramas that happened like relatively recently that were like shortly before I started the channel, that I was kind of interested in covering once I got the channel going. And those were the Marvel Rivals tournament that had the like 40K prize pool, and then also the whole Lucari situation. I mentioned at the beginning of both of those videos that like those were things that I wanted to talk about, and they kind of were both things that got like really big, right? They were things that kind of went beyond the sort of the kind of gaming and content creation spaces that you would normally expect those sorts of things to circulate in when it comes to like discourse and conversations and all that. They became like somewhat mainstream, as it were. And again, those were both things that happened relatively recently. However, there were also two big things that similarly made their way into more mainstream conversation and kind of broke free of broke containment, you could say, from where you would normally expect to see conversations about them happening that happened last year. That when I as I was watching them unfold, I was kind of like, man, I kind of wish I had a reaction or like drama channel that I could talk about these things, that I could like watch as they like, that I could like watch while recording, while like making content out of it, that I could like make content out of, that I could do videos on and have fun with in that way. And those dramas were Collargate, if you know, you know. And the other is the whole kind of unraveling and downfall and whatever other buzzword you want to use regarding PirateSoftware, which brings us to our current video that we are watching. Now, it should be said that while I am watching this video some days after it was posted, I actually saw it go live like an hour or two after it was posted. I saw it like very shortly after it was posted. And it should be noted that at that time, the title was different. The title actually used the word update. And so while I didn't watch the video right away, I did take a peek at the comments to see what people had to say, and I saw some things that were, I would say were a bit expected. I immediately saw people who were upset, angry, annoyed at the fact that this video said that it was an update, when in fact it provided no new information. I saw a number of people who were leaving angry comments. Again, even just within the first couple hours that this video was up, I saw multiple people leaving angry comments about how everything in this video has already been covered. There's nothing new here. There's nothing we haven't already known about for like months. And so yeah, but why? So then why am I watching the video regardless? Because amidst all those upset comments, I did see a couple that were more positive and said that this video was a good like compilation of sorts, that this video did a good job going over like a bunch of different things from all that happened, and they seemed to kind of enjoy the sort of refresher and recap. And so given that I don't think that I followed along with everything that happened as it was happening, and I've also probably not kept up with certain things or like might not remember certain things, I thought that this would maybe be a fun video to watch and take a look back on what all went down with PirateSoftware. So let's crack on, shall we?
From being seen as one of the brightest Blizzard developers to getting completely exposed as a fraud who built his entire career on lies, my name is Ryan, and we're going to talk about how PirateSoftware's years of lying finally backfired, destroying everything he'd worked for. Jason Thor Hall, better known as PirateSoftware, seemed like the real deal. With 7 years of experience at Blizzard and the confidence of someone who'd actually built games, he stood out from typical gaming streamers. But
7 years at Blizzard, by the way.
Until 2022, when he started posting short videos sharing interesting tips and random tech knowledge.
Take your mouse and you put your mouse inside of MS Paint, and then you hold spacebar, and then you use the arrow keys. You can draw like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah,
people didn't know this.
That's kind of interesting.
MS Paint is my favorite program ever, and all you have to do after is you just take it and you shake it up.
I will say
Everything changed in October 2023 when his videos.
while that is kind of interesting, I guess that maybe I should also mention briefly that I never got the interest in PirateSoftware. That kind of thing is interesting. Does it deserve hundreds of thousands or even millions of views like I know so many of his shorts used to get? No, probably not. I used to be in a couple Discord servers where people would share some of his shorts regularly and talk about like how amazing they were and like how he was such a great content creator. I watched probably at least half a dozen, probably more like a dozen of the shorts that were shared as being like not just like random shorts of his, but as being like good shorts of his. And I like never got it. I just never saw the appeal of PirateSoftware. I dropped in on like one or two of his streams. Just nothing that I found interesting or entertaining about anything I was seeing. So even before all of the drama happened, I just like didn't get why this guy was blowing up the way that he was. It seemed like a very clear instance of just like, he got lucky because that's what content creation is by and large, is like, can you get lucky enough to become this big? Really, the only thing that I found that I really liked about the guy was the ferret rescue.
Caught the attention of millions of viewers. People were going crazy over his content and saying things like, legitimately some of the only YouTube shorts
Yeah, see, like,
are yours. They're concise, informative, and exactly what's on the tin.
The glaze was crazy.
His software knowledge or all his explanations being done in Paint. The growth was so explosive that even Jason was shocked by how fast he was blowing up.
I'm gonna be real with you. With the massive increase in the amount of people that are on here, I went to my tax man because I was terrified and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And he said, what did you do? And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, my grandson knows who you are. What did you do?
Oh, that's actually kind of wild. What the hell?
2.6 million subscribers on YouTube and 1.2 million followers on Twitch at his peak. For a moment, PirateSoftware
so
seemed
many.
like one of the good ones. A guy who'd done the work and genuinely wanted to help others learn. But as his popularity grew, so did his ego, and the more people praised his genius, the more obsessed he became with maintaining that image. And although PirateSoftware kept getting bigger and more famous, little did he know that this meteoric rise was about to hit a wall.
Sorry, I know that we're like barely even like getting into the actual content of the video, but I do want to, this isn't necessarily in defense of Pirate. This is more so, I guess, just kind of a comment on how not unique he is, I guess. The idea that was just like posited there of how, you know, his ego got big and how specifically how like he wanted everyone to see how like how smart and amazing he was. I feel like that's actually like very common in content creators. I don't think that like I think that the reason things blew up for Pirate is probably, you know, because he went with that to an extreme, but and also just because of how big he is. Like when you have that many eyes on you, it's going to be easier for people to like take anything you mess up and like just blow it into something bigger than it might have otherwise been if you had a smaller audience. But I do feel like there are a lot of content creators that I've seen, and I feel like this is probably something that's true of just like people in general, but it's a lot easier to see from content creators. There are so many content creators who are like desperate to show you how smart they are, to try to prove that they're clever and like that they know how to think about things like in a different way or like better than most people. And it's just not true for a lot of them. A lot of content creators are like painfully average or sometimes, frankly speaking, kind of dumb individuals, but they have this like deep-seated need to feel like they're better than other people, and specifically that they're smarter than other people. And so I've seen so many creators in so many different ways do things and say things where it's clear that the reason that they're saying and doing those things is because they want to prove to their audience how smart they are. And I just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just not insecure enough to get it. Like I don't think I have ever really cared how, like, whether or not randos on the internet think I'm smart. You know what I mean? That has never, even now, and even in my previous attempts at like being a content creator with like making videos or streaming or whatever, like that's just never been something that's like front and center on my mind, is like, oh, I need to make sure my audience knows that I'm just so incredibly smart. You know what I mean?
January 12, 2025, one incident would expose who Jason really was underneath all of that confidence.
Is this the WoW
Was a
thing?
part of OnlyFans.
Yeah, this is where it started, right?
Warcraft Classic Hardcore Guild, made up of some of the most well-known and skilled players in the game. It had huge streamers like Soda Poppin and Tyler One.
Tyler One!
As mage in
Let's
high-stakes
go.
hardcore dungeon run with teammates Yamato, Ozzy, Snoopy, and Sarah, where death means losing everything permanently and you have to start your character from scratch.
Not the
Things
death
started going
sensor
wrong for the group
on
when
screen.
they pulled too many enemies and got completely overwhelmed.
Boss is coming too, watch out.
Yeah, boy, I got shield wall. God damn
Run,
it.
run.
Just run. Can you target dummy?
And as his teammates' health bars dropped and everyone fought desperately to survive, Jason made a choice that revealed his true colors. Instead of helping his dying friends, he used his teleport ability to escape.
I can target dummy, yeah. Should I do it?
Just kill the master. Yeah, target dummy.
That looked like a
And
blink.
just ran away, leaving his teammates to die.
Any
I
grenades,
got last
anything.
stand. You can just
Heal him,
kill
heal
them.
him, heal him, heal him.
Yeah, you just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
Boss is on me, sitting bear form.
Snuppy, just run.
I can help lot. Yep.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you
Blinked
talking about?
again.
Why am I walking?
This
Look at
is
my mana.
savage.
You see my mana?
I have no
What am I
mana.
supposed to do?
Literally 2 seconds after he blinked.
Snoopy losing their high-level hardcore characters forever.
For me.
I can.
Snuppy.
I don't think. I cannot stun him.
Although Jason claimed he had no mana to throw an attacking spell at the mobs, he actually had a mana restoring gem in his inventory the entire time that he chose not to use.
He also has mana gem and their on use gives mana. Okay, so he has a lot of mana.
When confronted, Thor
He has a lot of
refused to
mana.
take any responsibility,
He actually has a lot of
blaming
mana,
everyone
despite what he
except
said.
For himself.
They called
boss
run,
came up after,
I
like, the
ran,
Masters
and I was
too,
out of mana.
after we,
I don't know what the hell they were expecting, dude. That does not make any sense. That
You
when I
instantly
had,
ran out, bro. You instantly ran. You didn't even look
as much
back.
as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
I'm not
be
angry at
you,
all.
you,
I'm not
you
angry at all.
overpulled 2 packs. You overpulled 2 packs and a boss. I had 1,400 mana left. I had to spend all of that mana to try and put it on Blizzard to save you guys in the first place, and nothing left. You weren't paying attention to party resources. You overpulled, and you weren't paying attention to where the boss was. That's not on me.
Then he also got
His language is just, it's not even just that it's condescending. I feel like the condescending part is so obvious, right? But it's not even just that it's condescending. It's also like, it's so accusatory. It's so inflammatory. Like, it literally sounds like the phrasing and like the words used literally sound like what you would expect from an internet troll who's like trying to rage bait you.
passive aggressive with his teammates.
I wouldn't even call that passive aggressive.
Cool. You go roll a mage then. See you around.
And being downright disrespectful.
I think
and
that's
leaving a
arguably
call
just
when people
aggressive.
call him out.
All did mistakes, bro. Like I didn't say, we are just blaming you. It's about the zero accountability is what makes us so mad.
There's no zero accountability, dude. Everyone can do something better.
you-
But when you open up and you yell over another person
listen,
like you
can
were doing
I
earlier,
speak?
nah, I'm good.
You
See ya. I'm not doing that shit again with him.
OnlyFans guild leader Soda Poppin himself.
Oh my
reviewed the
god, how
footage.
childish.
I don't think he got them killed on purpose. I think he just sucked ass and panicked.
And ultimately kicked Software out of the guild. But instead of apologizing, Jason doubled down on social media, refusing to admit he'd made any mistakes.
Yep.
The World of Warcraft
This is where-
community turned on him hard, with people saying things like he hits all the hallmarks of a narcissist, and the last few months of rapid popularity growth has definitely gotten to him. I'm not sure I've ever seen a streamer's head grow as large as his has in such a short period period of time. This would be the first moments when people started realizing that Jason wasn't really who he portrayed himself to be like, despite acting like he's an expert at everything.
Also, whoever said World of Warcraft, WoW is not difficult. And that's coming from someone who is a mythic raider, dude. It's never been difficult at all. Here's how you beat WoW. Stop standing in fire, you dumbass.
Oh, I love when clips like that age like a fine wine. Or, you know, depending on your perspective, like milk. Yeah, and, you know, the doubling down thing, ultimately that's what this all was about, right? It wasn't about the fact that he fucked up a WoW raid, right? It was about, like Yamato said, the zero accountability, and then the subsequent doubling, and I believe it kept going, right? I believe he like doubled down and then something else happened and he tripled down and then something else happened and he like what? I want to say it kept happening, right? Let's find out.
Words with his actions,
Let's check.
And people started calling him a roach throughout the community. The name stuck so well.
PirateSoftware, nice.
Added a parody character, a literal cockroach that sounded like him.
Evocation's on cooldown, man.
The parody was clearly meant as a joke, poking fun of PirateSoftware's online persona and recent controversies. But instead of laughing it off like any normal person would, Jason's fragile ego couldn't handle the joke, so he filed a DMCA takedown against the game, getting it temporarily removed from Steam.
Fucking
the
dick
game
move
used his
much?
audio without permission.
Hey, Kronos, we have to file a legal complaint against that dude earlier. Well, I filed a DMCA claim, and he has now filed a counterclaim against me. We're going to take you to court. You're going to lose. You cannot use somebody's likeness or voice in any way inside of your games without their permission. It's a really stupid thing to do.
But Jason hadn't
His
done his
voice
homework
just-
because after a
His voice just fucking like reeks of fucking pomposity. Pomposity? I think that's a word, right? Being pompous. Didn't want to reuse condescending again, even though that's still very apt to this situation as well. Like, it just... There are some people, when I hear them talk, I don't understand how, like, other people can just, like, enjoy listening to them. Like, sure, he's got a deep voice. I've got a deep voice. And so, like, I guess in that vein, it sounds like he sounds all right. Just because he has a deep voice. Like some people just really like certain kinds of voices, but like even if you're not like fully listening to like the words that he's saying, which, you know, oftentimes are pretty bad, even just like the tone he takes when he's talking, oftentimes there's just such an air of like, I'm better than you. Like there's such a like holier than thou kind of attitude that he just exudes frequently when he talks. And I don't know, when I listen to that kind of thing, it just pisses me off. I don't understand why more people don't get annoyed and upset by that.
counterclaim, the game came back online. It turned out the audio wasn't even in the Steam version he complained about.
They filed a false DMCA claim on my game because they assumed that the game on Steam had this content in it. It does not. It does not.
Filing false DMCA claims can have serious legal consequences.
We can only hope.
It wasn't having it. This was just another proof that Jason couldn't handle any criticism without trying to silence his critics. Even when directly asked if he comes across as arrogant, Jason's response said it clearly. His mask was starting to slip as more and more people could see Jason for who he really was, and this is exactly what started his downfall from a loved streamer to one of the most hated people on the internet. With people saying PirateSoftware really be speedrunning to become the most unlikable person. But
are we not gonna get any of the actual clips from the Dr. K like session that he did? I don't remember the specifics, but I remember some like I feel like I remember some fun stuff coming out of that interview, meeting, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there were some fun things that came out of that stream, that video. So yeah.
Jason's problems were just getting started. As the hate poured in, everyone started questioning everything about him, such as his coding skills, which he constantly bragged about.
Hi, My name is Jason Thor Hall, also known as Pirate Software Online. I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment, then Amazon Game Studios, and now I own my own studio, Pirate Software, by the same name, which is an indie studio, and I've been here for about 8 years now.
See, like, that seemed chill.
Made Jason blow up.
That seemed more chill from
He
him.
caught the attention of another developer and
Needs to talk
YouTuber
like that
called
more.
Jesus, who decided to take a closer look at Jason's actual code from his game Heartbound and what he found.
Oh boy.
shocked everyone. Right away, CJ noticed something very suspicious.
I can only find 2 developer streams that Thor actually brings up code on the screen. Does not actually do any coding. The code is just visually there on the screen. And 98% of the actual stream is him looking at his subscribers, looking at his tip jar as to how much money people have sent him.
What?
And also looking at videos about games, but never actually doing any game development in a dev stream.
And as he dug
Nice.
deeper into Jason's live stream
Classy.
footage, the evidence became more and more obvious.
Alarm 0, Alarm 1, Alarm 2. What is that? What are those alarms? Is it an alarm for person A, an alarm for whatever character, an alarm to do what? It's unexpressive, it's really spaghetti code in my opinion.
Jason's code was a complete disaster and full of rookie mistakes that not even an intern would make, let alone someone with over 20 years of coding experience.
Thor is using the incorrect data types. This isn't even getting to some sort of advanced design or design pattern. It's showing a complete lack of understanding how to represent information in a program. Okay?
And a lot of his code was unnecessarily complicated for no apparent reason.
Another thing here that I noticed is the absurd amount here. Having a comment for
What was that cut?
have asked the question and question asks equals 1 is totally superfluous, a waste of time, a waste of space. I'm not sure why it was added. If not just to waste time on a dev stream, to spend more time pretending you're coding than watching.
CJ's breakdown of Jason's code not only destroyed Jason's credibility, but also turned him into a laughingstock of the internet.
Anything would be an upgrade over what is written here. It's below what you'd expect of a bottom tier intern. Honestly, if I was claiming I'm a game developer with 20 years of experience, this would be embarrassing to have online.
And viewers were furious, with one of them saying, what Thor is doing is performative programming.
Performative
He doesn't
programming is
actually
crazy.
code, he just likes to have serious looking code on screen at all times. The backlash he received led to Jason deleting 2 days worth
all
of
about
stream footage
optics.
and left a petty comment on CJ's video pointing out irrelevant details.
Pirate himself also responded, and he got a bit hung up on the fact that my mouse had some variable highlighted, despite the fact that I never talked about that variable. It's actually quite funny, because I refer to every variable other than the one that he referred to in his reply.
Nice.
Completely false claims to save his face.
But skipping over that, he makes the claim that you can't define a Boolean in GameMaker because GameMaker itself doesn't have a native Boolean type in its scripting language. In other words, it interprets reals as Booleans. Now, to reconcile the fact that he used a Boolean in his code with what he said, I decided to do what any developer would do, and that is I consulted the documentation. So if you go to data
Sensible.
types in GameMaker, oh, look at that.
Oh hey,
But of course,
Boolean,
Jason
right
couldn't
there.
admit he was wrong and instead went on stream to insult CJ personally.
What do you think about
almost like a Boolean. Almost like Booleans are an incredibly common data type and like very core. Like they're just such a simple and core part of like so many basic aspects of coding. Like I don't know. I'm sure there are some languages or like environments that like don't have Booleans, but also if you're going to use things that look like Booleans in your code and then claim that Booleans don't exist here, only to be very easily proven wrong. It's funny. It's funny. What is the phrase? Confidently incorrect. I love when people are just so confidently incorrect and get called out for it.
Coding Jesus calling you out? I think he's striving to be relevant so he can sell you more $360 an hour trainings.
However, as many
Irony much? Struggling to be relevant. Brother, you're a large content creator who like got big by getting lucky abusing the shorts algorithm on YouTube before shorts like really started catching on and like gaining traction. Like clearly you want to be relevant. No?
Many people began to notice Jason's coding disaster and his tendency to do anything but code during his dev streams explains why Hardbound has been in early access for 10 years. And those who have played
That's
Hardbound
crazy.
have only confirmed how negative the experience is, with comments such as, "This game is legitimately a scam by a streamer who wants to wear game development as a costume." The game has been in development for almost 10 years. It has barely 2 hours of content. The advertising
Yikes.
around this game has been more than misleading. It has been completely false. Several YouTubers who reviewed Hardbound found exactly what you'd expect from Jason's coding skills.
There are exactly 3 puzzle sections, 5 total puzzles, and this is being very generous with what I consider a puzzle, by the way. A single combat section, 1 battle, yes, 1 that is repeated, so that's 2 total battles, but only 1 unique fight, and 2 mini games. That's it.
Basically, no real gameplay.
I was gonna say, so basically a tutorial. we have after 10 years of development, we have a game tutorial, it sounds like.
Of people roasting his game, saying he's named PirateSoftware because there's no way you are paying for playing his game.
Oh, nice.
His career. Sometimes I wonder if he meant to say he worked at Dairy Queen making blizzards, but misspoke and then just ran with it. Since he started.
Oh, these
getting
Reddit
exposed,
comments included in the video are
recent
fun.
Reviews have been overwhelmingly negative on Steam, and people started questioning his entire.
Also, speaking of the Reddit comments, but also just I mentioned something about Pirate's language earlier, the way that he chooses to speak and say things. I also want to mention that I like I like a lot of the phrasing that's used by this video creator, because not just from the Reddit comments, but also just the way that he chooses to present things and like move from certain point to certain point. Like the very subtle but very intentional roasting that happens throughout the video is just very well done, very fun.
Career. Bob Ross of coding, the hacker from the government, the Blizzard employee. You'd think with such titles, he'd have made at least a couple of games by now. Thor's biggest and possibly only useful career skill is social engineering, meaning the only thing he's actually good at is convincing people he's good at other things. But as it turns,
Before, back in the day, we had a word or phrase for people like that. It's called con man. I feel like saying it's because he's good at like social engine. I feel like while that may be accurate, I feel like that's dressing it up to sound nicer than it actually is. Like if someone's just like a liar, but they're a decent liar, or at the very least good at convincing people of their lies for some reason or another, politicians, sometimes we just call those people con men. It's a term that has a fairly negative connotation to it, which I feel like is more appropriate for someone like Jason.
turns out, his expertise in coding and game development wasn't the only thing Jason was faking. Looking back at his older content, Jason sounded like a regular guy.
Oh, is this the voice conspiracy?
PirateSoftware. How's your show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic Con, and there's so many people.
It's so
Fast forward
funny.
a few years.
Look, I'm not gonna. I think this is one of the things that I'm not gonna like necessarily like hard weigh in on. I'm not gonna say that the guy is faking his voice or like using a voice. I'm not gonna say anything like that. But I will say it's so fucking funny hearing how he used to sound and comparing it to how he sounds now. Regardless of whether it's natural or whatever, it's just such a funny it's just such a funny dichotomy comparing the two.
And suddenly, he was speaking like a discount corpse husband in every stream.
Now, if you want to learn how to hack, dude, go to owasp.org.
Viewers started noticing the dramatic change, and one user even commented, "Pinocchio, but his voice gets deeper every time he lies." When confronted,
Oh, these
Jason
Reddit
claimed that
comments.
he was just going through puberty again, despite being over 30 years old.
Went back to the doctor. Doctor's like, hey, sometimes in your early 30s, your voice can change as a man, and it's effectively second puberty.
But then came the
Is that
2024
real?
Awards, and Extra Emily interviewed Jason live on stage, long after his alleged second puberty hit.
Yeah, that's correct. Software and game development's finally a category on Twitch, and now it's up here at the Streamer Awards, so yeah.
But his voice was noticeably higher than his stream persona,
Yeah.
with many people calling him out. This must have been recorded before his second puberty. This proved that Jason was lying about his voice and somehow artificially making himself sound deeper on his streams.
There's Dr. K again, but are we going to...
Red-handed, Jason still refused to admit the truth.
People thought I was using a voice changer. People still do. They meet me in person. They're like, it's not a voice changer. And I'm like, no, dude. Like, my voice just dropped into the floor. And I can make it go all the way down here, too. Like, that's the bottom of my vocal range.
Yeah, that just sounded fake. That part just sounded fake. And also, hold up.
It's not a voice changer. And I'm like, no, dude. Like, my voice just dropped into the
He looks down and to the right,
floor,
moves his hand down to do something.
I can make it go all the way down.
And then...
Like, that's the bottom of my...
Okay, that just sounds fake. Whether or not his regular speaking voice is fake or not, again, like I said, I'm not going to comment on, although I will say, after seeing the streamer awards clip, I will say it is funny that there is like enough evidence to support the argument that he's faking it. I think that is funny. Whether or not he actually is, I think it's funny that you can make a case for it being fake. This though, this is the bottom of my vocal, like this just sounds fake. It's either fake or like incredibly forced.
My vocal range.
And viewers weren't buying it anymore, with one commenter saying he's just such a good hacker that he can change his vocal sliders in person. His voice wasn't the only thing that Jason likes to do to make himself feel important. He also loves to act like he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, I kind of talked about that earlier.
2023, Jason was playing Outer Wilds, a puzzle game that's extremely difficult to figure out.
This is a puzzle
Jason
game?
was stuck in a room where he couldn't figure out how to make progress, getting frustrated and confused. Jason quietly grabbed his phone from the side while trying to make it look casual.
An image of a quantum object.
Okay, it's similar to what I just pointed out with the voice thing.
Performance where he pretended to be in deep thought, telling chat not to spoil anything while he figured it out.
Image of a quantum object. Oh, by the way, I am not reading most of chat, and I can't.
But if you watch his eyes, he was clearly just reading something off of his phone. Then suddenly, like magic, he solved the puzzle.
Eureka!
I just solved it. I think I just solved it, chat. I think I understand. I think I understand how to do this.
Some of his viewers immediately saw through the act, joking, he doesn't cheat, he worked at Blizzard for 7 years. It's part of their yearly training to summon the solution by saying, wait a minute. They also mocked his past behavior. He's regenerating mana when he looks down at his desk for a minute or two. But Jason wasn't done cheating, because later in the stream, he got stuck for the second time.
What? What? What?
But as he couldn't figure out what was...
Oh, that reaction's so funny to me because it's like people might think I'm reaching with this one, but it feels very childish. It feels like a very childish reaction. Like someone, I feel like if you're playing a puzzle game, like this is maybe a stretch just because like when you're a streamer, you'll play all kinds of games for content, right? But if you're playing a puzzle game, which this apparently is, I think I get this game mixed up with another one that's like a shooter, right? But when you're playing a puzzle game, I feel like you should be going into it with like some level of just like curiosity and an interest in like just like in like an interest in figuring it out and solving it just for the sake of like basically doing puzzles for the sake of doing puzzles, right? You should be enjoying the kind of like intellectual stimulation and challenge that comes with a difficult puzzle. But to get something wrong and then be like, what do you, huh? Like that kind of reaction to me just says that like kind of in keeping with the spirit of like the point that the video is trying to make, it doesn't seem like he's doing this for the sake of like enjoying puzzles. It seems like he's doing it because he wants chat to think that he's smart for being able to do these puzzles, right? And so, because like I feel like getting frustrated, I think makes sense, but to get like outright upset at like failing to figure something out or like solve a puzzle, that just seems like unless it's something that you've been like bashing your head against the wall for like hours trying to figure out, I feel like that kind of reaction just like it's just, it's not in the spirit of what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? And also, actually, now that I'm saying this out loud, another thought occurs to me. Dude is supposedly some big, like, coder, programmer, developer guy, right? Which I know that we've already passed the point in the video where Coding Jesus kind of debunked him on that, on those credentials. But if you're going to try to keep up that act, then it might behoove you to have at least like a baseline understanding of what programming and software development is. And for those who don't know, for those who aren't like super tech literate or tech knowledgeable, programming is like at its core, honestly, basically just problem solving. It's basically just like, it is kind of like a series of like puzzles in a sense, because you are trying to get your code, you're trying to get a program to do a specific thing. And it's never going to be the case, except in the case of like very simple stuff, I suppose. It's never going to be the case that you go into like a coding session and you're able to just like knock out, like just crank out like line after code and like figure and like and basically just like intuitively and instantly figure out everything you need to do to get your program to work in exactly the intended way. It's just not really how coding works. There's a lot of problem solving involved. There's like, oh, okay, so I have this behavior occurring with this program when what I want is this other thing to happen. What in these lines of code, like what is causing this to happen instead of that? And then you have to like tweak things, play around with things, add lines, take lines, like you have to do a lot of like trying to figure out why problems exist and puzzle together like if things aren't working the way that you want, how do you go about changing that to make things work the way that you want? You know what I mean? So for somebody who supposedly, again, has like all of this experience as a coder, you would think that he would be more accustomed to not having things go the way that he wants immediately anytime he comes up against some kind of like puzzle or similar sort of problem.
Happening, he reached for something off camera once again, and after some more deep thinking, he magically knew exactly where to go and what to find. But perhaps the most damning piece of evidence of his cheating came when Jason reached the Quantum Moon, where the puzzle required you to use knowledge you only get much later in the game, but somehow Jason already knew exactly what to do.
We know the one of quantum imaging.
Oops.
And, Eye of the Universe? We've never been there. I'm gonna try and get into the North Pole on this thing. No, there's no getting up there.
Which just proved that he was cheating. Such disgusting behavior. Thinking time proceeds to Google for 2 minutes and suddenly, I know the answer guys, I figured it out. Jason of course decided to double down on his lies.
That phase too.
A lot of people say that I cheated because I looked at my phone.
One or both of those is going to be the thumbnail.
Why would I cheat with my phone when I have a 3-monitor setup? It's a pretty easy way to talk about this. I have one monitor here that actually shows broadcast information, usually using game capture, so I could put a guide up here if I wanted to in the first place. This one is just OBS. I could put it right next to chat there and it'd be really easy to hide it because I'm constantly looking at chat anyway. Or I could put it on the right and put it on another one where I put all my social media stuff. It doesn't make any sense to use a phone to look at a guide while you're running through a game like that when you could just look at anything else.
But that wasn't the only time he cheated during a blind gaming stream.
So his argument is there's no way I cheated because I could have cheated in this other way instead. And it would have been somewhat, like it would have been slightly easier if I did it this other way. Rock solid alibi, my guy.
In May 2024, Jason got caught red-handed again while playing Animal Well, somehow intuitively solving
the hell is it?
puzzles.
I don't think I've ever heard of this game.
Wait a minute. It's the lengths.
His acting is also so bad, by the way. I don't...
This is 4 blocks wide. This is 4 blocks wide.
I don't recall if I mentioned that earlier. I think I went off on a different kind of tangent, but his... With the clips from the previous game as well, his acting is just so... I I don't understand. Even if you like don't really know the games that well, I feel like you can't be buying this. If you're paying even a lick of attention to the guy's stream while this is happening, I feel like you can't be buying this. Like, come on.
And this time, the evidence was undeniable. As one viewer pointed out, you would never know to use that poster as a guide to put the pieces of code together unless you had all 8 of them. He only had 4? It's a dead giveaway. He's skipping to the solution without even having all the pieces to come to that conclusion.
Nice.
I would delete my channel at this point. Everything he does is a complete fraud. LOL. Getting completely
undeniable
exposed,
indeed.
Jason quietly changed his stream title to protect his image, but this was also caught by his audience.
Changed it from blind
playthrough after being caught using guides. Just
that's a wild cover up.
People started digging into
attempt at covering up, I should say.
Legendary career at Blizzard. Turns out
7 years at Blizzard, by the way.
Is Joey Ray Hall, a former senior project manager at Blizzard and a major figure in the gaming industry.
No, my dad didn't inspire the WoW guy from South Park. My dad is the WoW guy. He was the cinematic director for Blizzard for 23 years. He worked on the episode of Matt and Trey, and they turned him into a character. That's him.
But Jason didn't join Blizzard as some hotspot developer.
That would also be a good thumbnail.
Quality assurance analyst, basically testing games for bugs, which immediately made people wonder if he only joined Blizzard through his dad's connections, leading articles being written about him being a nepo baby. And despite him getting his foot in the door through daddy's connections, Jason isn't even a good son to his dad, and when he got confronted, he tried lying to his own dad.
Last month was my birthday, and you didn't call me. Neither did your brother. You guys both ignored me for my birthday.
That isn't true. I sent you a text.
No, you did not.
But when his dad didn't buy it and pressed him,
I hadn't heard about this.
No choice but to check his messages and admit that he'd been lying.
I got nothing. You sent me one last year.
Did I send you one last year? Am I a shitty son? Oh man.
Yeah. I want everybody to know.
It was last year. Wow.
Instead of showing any shame or apologizing to his father, Jason laughed it off.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Did not say anything to his father for his birthday a month ago.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't text you anything after that last happy birthday, so it's still the same one. It still counts.
Your logic sucks.
If Jason
Your logic sucks. Yo, can his dad become the big streamer instead of him? I like him a lot more just based off that one clip. Holy man. I had not heard about that one. That's yeesh. You know what? What was his dad's name? Joey Ray Hall? You know what? Joey? We got something in common. Just roles are reversed a little bit. My father hasn't texted me for my birthday for 2 or 3 years now. It does kind of suck, doesn't it?
To his own father on livestream, there's literally nothing he won't lie about to protect his fake image. But karma was about to catch up with Jason when he actively spread misinformation and killed off the Stop Killing Games movement, which was started by YouTuber Ross Scott, also known as Accursed Farms.
As a refresher, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement to stop publishers from effectively destroying video games they have already sold to customers.
The idea behind the movement is simple. If you buy a game, you should be able to play it forever, even if the company stops supporting it. Ross had been building momentum for months.
Sounds good to me.
Trying to get enough signatures to pass actual laws protecting gamers.
Well, we've launched a European Citizens Initiative, which would introduce new law in the EU to stop this. And we have time to do it. 1 year. Go to stopkillinggames.com. It'll tell you what to do.
This was posted on August 9, 2024, and the deadline to get all the signatures was on July 31st, 2025. That's when Jason decided to join the conversation, and on August 6, 2024, he made a video speaking against the movement and spent hours on stream telling his millions of viewers why the whole thing was terrible.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm gonna actively tell people not to. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely.
You know what? Another thing that I don't like about the way he speaks is he so often, especially when he's expressing like disapproval for things, whether it be people critiquing him or things like apparently the Stop Killing Games initiative, he speaks so incredibly unprofessionally. And I feel like that's relevant because he does kind of try to sell himself as like an industry professional, right? and that was like one of the things that like caught that like people that like made people start paying attention to him, right? As it was talked about at the beginning of the video, was like when he does things, when he like makes his shorts that are like supposed to be like informative, like things like even if it was silly and simple, things like the MS Paint like arrow key thing where you get to like move it around, basically make it into an Etch-a-Sketch. Like if you're trying to paint yourself as being basically like almost like an educational resource as a streamer, I think it's really weird to then see the string of clips that we just watched where he's like, oh, this sucks ass, this can eat shit, like I hate all of that. It just feels very weird. It feels very weird seeing someone be like that unprofessional, I think. Again, given the way that he tries to position himself when talking about things. Not to say that content creators, be they streamers or YouTubers or whatever, not to say that content creators can't be human, can't be casual about things. But again, I think there's a difference between being casual and like, you know, I swear in my videos, right? I think there's a difference between being casual and being like, I keep coming back to this word, but being childish with your critiques. Like, this doesn't seem like someone's well-reasoned and measured response to things that they don't like or agree with. This seems like someone throwing a tantrum, throwing a fit, being like, I don't like this, get rid of it, rah! It's similar to how, I think I actually was going to mention this earlier, but I didn't because something else came up that I had started to talk about. But the way, well, like something that was talked about with like the way that his fragile ego, I think was when I was thinking about this earlier, was the video mentioned his fragile ego not being able to handle criticism. The way that he just like outright like the policy on his stream ever since he started getting into like any kind of drama was for his mods to like ban on site anyone who like seems to maybe possibly be causing any kind of issues or speaking ill of Pirate in any capacity, right? Like there's all kinds of terms I heard that there was like all kinds of terms that were like added to like the auto mod ban list. Like if you said like wow or like mana potion or I think like there were all these different things that like if you said them in his chat, you got like insta banned automatically. And again, it's a very childish way of handling criticism and disagreement, is just like throwing tantrums, and then anytime anybody tries to remotely call you out for your behavior and the way that you're choosing to handle things, it's just like, I'm not going to let you have a voice anymore. I'm going to shut you out. I'm going to ban you. I'm going to prevent you from continuing to comment or like engage in anything, like basically trying to call me on my shit. So yeah, that's just
PirateSoftware
another thing that just
initiative
not to like about him.
Streams, claiming it was too vague and would hurt developers and live service games. But the problem wasn't just that he disagreed with the initiative, it was the way he explained it.
So for those who don't understand,
that's kind of what I just said.
Killing games is basically, we don't want single player games to have DRM.
Wait, no.
The developers can turn off.
I think this is a different point.
Render the single player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single player games that do not need a server to support them. Where it is a single player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists.
And Ross had to make multiple videos just to correct all of Jason's misinformation.
No, that's not what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them. He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression.
Jason hadn't gotten one or two things wrong.
God.
He got everything wrong and presented them as facts.
Confidently incorrect.
Multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single player, rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable?
He also made up complete lies about what the movement was trying to accomplish.
So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single player. Once again, he made that up. And I have no idea why he thought that.
But although people tried to debunk his
I love how bewildered he is trying to address these claims still.
Lies had seriously hurt
I
the
have
campaign.
no idea.
By far is YouTuber and streamer PirateSoftware, who goes by Thor. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is. That's a bit loaded, though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first.
When the truth came out, the internet exploded with criticism.
Hold on.
Fans,
I feel like I need to
and even
pause there to
Second
see.
definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first.
Oh, okay. So the second definition he's talking about is to create a false or misleading impression, whereas the first definition he's saying that he has no evidence of is to make an untrue statement with intent to deceive. So he's just saying that while Pirate Software is definitely lying about things, he wants to clarify that he is not trying to insinuate that Pirate is doing so intentionally. In other words, he's saying Pirate might not be malicious, he might just be fucking stupid.
when the truth came,
You know what they say, never attribute to malice what can be explained by incompetence. And if you haven't heard that expression, incorporate it into your life, it'll make a lot of things a lot easier.
out, the internet exploded with criticism. Fans, other creators, and even people who had never heard of him before started calling him out. Pirate Software is either being malicious on purpose for some reason, or he's just really dumb and plain stupid.
Hey,
As he said it
that's what I just
himself,
said.
this is the most uneducated take I've ever seen in games, except it is about his own takes. The backlash was so intense that Pirate Software lost over 600,000 YouTube subscribers, and close
Holy.
to 300,000 Twitch followers, all within a 6-month period of Ross's video coming out.
That's
Drama channel on
crazy.
YouTube started covering his downfall.
I've
but
seen
instead
that
of
channel.
apologizing,
I've
Jason
seen that
acted
channel. He
shocked
has
that
so
people
many
were
Pirate
mad at
Software
him because
videos.
he had done nothing wrong.
Yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago and then not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is going wrong for them.
And as viewers pointed out,
What?
Thor is physically incapable of admitting fault.
What?
Once you understand that, it all makes sense. And Pirate Software's greatest fear is admitting
Ego.
he could be wrong. This only made everyone
Ego. Big
So
ego.
out of control, I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively referring to himself in third person. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it.
And
Yes,
people started
agree,
calling Jason
Charlie,
the
agree.
Not admitting you were wrong final boss. Even as his career crumbled around him,
face.
Jason kept dodging responsibility.
No one hates Pirate Software because he doesn't agree with Stop Killing Games. But the reason so many people, myself included, do not like how Pirate Software is handling all this is he is refusing, outright refusing, to just admit any level of fault, that he was wrong about anything.
And he even went on Twitter claiming that he was innocent all along.
Dude could be a
He said,
politician.
quote, "My videos do not seem to have had any impact on the movement at all. Making me the villain did though, but the data told a different story. Another
I'm
timeline
sure it
graph showed
did.
exactly when the campaign lost momentum, which was right after Jason's videos went live, but his reasoning for trying to dodge criticism was getting more and more unhinged. Yeah, I lied, but you guys took too long to correct it, so it's your fault. The delusion, bro. Even Penguin Zero tried talking sense into him, but Jason's ego wouldn't budge.
Now, he did just post a tweet where he said he talked to me and Josh Strife Hayes, and in that tweet, there's not a single peep about misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games was about. It's more so about how the public just doesn't understand game development, and it kind of reads to me like we're all just too stupid to understand it from his side of things.
Yep.
Our conversation basically amounted to toilet paper.
The backlash on Beyond
Yep,
online
that's-
criticism. Jason claimed he received death
That seems like kind of his MO. It's not just like we were saying earlier with like his need to be like the video said like his need to be the smartest person in the room, and I talked about it with like talking about is like, you know, he and a lot of other content creators have this like seem to have this like this very strong desire to be seen as like very smart and very clever, even more so, you know, more so than they may actually be in reality. And this is kind of, you know, the thing with that is his His MO is not just needing to be seen as smart, but it's needing to be right about everything and having just an obstinate refusal to like ever admit that he could have been wrong about anything. And I don't know. I hate people like that.
threats and was being swatted, eventually announcing he was quitting game development, saying,
Now, he did just post a tweet where he said he talked to me and Josh Strife Hayes, and in that tweet, there's not a single peep about misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games was about. It's more so about how the public just doesn't understand game development, and it kind of reads to me.
Oh, this is what I was also trying to say was it's about refusing to admit he's wrong, and then also because he's put so much effort into like building this persona of this like genius hacker or whatever. There's also this idea that he kind of leans on that sort of reputation to then when he does have issues where people are calling him out, there have been, I'm pretty sure, multiple times where his approach in his response is to basically say,
like, we're all just too stupid to understand it from his side of things.
Basically say, just, you can't understand what it is I'm trying to say because I'm just so much smarter than you.
Beyond online criticism, Jason claimed he received death threats and was being swatted, eventually announcing he was quitting game development, saying, "I am no longer working at off-brand games. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb them."
Okay, I also went back though because I feel like we just kind of brushed off the notion that he was apparently getting swatted. We gonna address that more at all?
You can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged.
Because that I will agree with. I will agree with him on that. Review bombing is whatever. Sometimes I think it's actually kind of warranted to review bomb things, frankly speaking. But I will agree with him that like you can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged. I will agree with that as it pertains to swatting. Definitely don't swat people. I think I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I said this in one or two of my previous videos, but yeah, I don't think I agree with that kind of behavior.
But even that was wrong too, as
bit of a serious thing.
One of the games currently worked on by Off-Brand Games is having a massive review bombing. The only game that is having a review bombing is Jason Thor Hall's own game, Heartbound.
Speaking of things that I've brought up in previous videos, I love when dipshits get community noted on Twitter.
And Jason's refusal to take any accountability left everyone speechless.
He is so hell-bent on proving he's right and everyone else is wrong that's saying these things. He's got the mega mind, once-in-a-generation galaxy brain that no one can possibly understand. All us plebeians are beneath him, and we're lucky that he even graces us with streams, and we're stupid for thinking that he did anything wrong here in regards to his coverage of Stop Killing Games and what it's actually about. It's just so odd to me. Because if he would just come out and be like, yeah, you know what? Looking back on it, really reflecting, hearing what you guys are saying, I can see why this was so misleading for so many people. I didn't mean for it to be, and yeah, maybe I misunderstood some of these things.
And at this point, Jason's reputation was
arrogance that not even Atlas could shoulder.
Completely destroyed. Dude went from fun/interesting shorts with an interesting voice to I lied to my entire community about what something was about, and now they're mad at me for it in the span of like 7 months. And people aren't even surprised about Jason lying anymore, with one viewer saying, PirateSoftware loves to double down when he knows he is wrong because he has a huge ego. He does this anytime anyone disagrees with him. However,
we've noticed
asked him to make an apology video to explain all of his wrongdoings, Jason laughed it off like it was the stupidest idea he'd ever heard.
I bet it pissed him right off. The mere notion, someone suggesting the mere notion that he should ever dare apologize for anything, whether it be the OnlyThings WoW thing, or whether it be the Stop Killing Games misinformation he was spreading, or like, I'm sure that the very idea of that just pisses him right off.
Put up a video saying you were wrong with every situation and the internet move on. I am not doing that. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, simply bend the knee and lie about how you feel and everyone will stop bullying you. That's a great idea, dude.
Holy fucking playing the victim. That, like, did you hear the way he just said that? Hold on.
Situation and the internet move on. I am not doing that. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, simply bend the knee and lie about how you feel and everyone will stop bullying you. That's a great...
Just lie about how you feel and everyone will stop bullying you. Brother. Holy, I feel like even if you want to try to be understanding about like literally everything else from him in this video, you are a fucking millionaire streamer. You are in no sense a victim in any of this, in any of these dramas of your own creation. You are not a fucking victim. Say what you want, even in defense of Pirate, for again, any of these prior things. If you're gonna, like, you cannot take his side and act like he is a victim in all this. Like, oh, the internet's bullying me. Like, get the fuck over here. Like, grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. You get paid. Again, there's with his channel size, both on Twitch and YouTube, there's no way he's not a millionaire unless he's like horrible with his finances. No way he's not a millionaire. And you're gonna whine about some people, but this is something that I always hated about big content creators in general. I'll say that now. I'll say that this is not something PirateSoftware exclusive. This is something I always hated about big content creators, is when they piss and bitch and moan about people being mean to them on the internet, when, like, one, you chose to do this as a career. Two, regardless of people being mean to you, this is still a vastly easier career than like than basically anything else you could be doing, most likely. And like three, some people will like take on this will like throw on their victim garb anytime that they get like a negative comment in their chat or comment section, despite the fact that there will be like still dozens or hundreds of people fucking just unabashedly and like unequivocally just glazing the ever-loving shit out of them because that's parasocial relationships these days. People just they love to stan and they love to like not critically evaluate the people that they support. So it's like, cry me a fucking river.
Great idea, dude. Yeah, no, eat shit.
Showing that
and again, with what I was saying earlier with like the unprofessional, like the eat shit comment, like that's, anybody else feel like that was just like wholly unnecessary to the point he was making? Just like it feels so incredibly rude and mean-spirited for zero reason.
Rather watch his entire career burn to the ground than admit he was wrong about anything. But all of this would be in comparison to the latest controversies surrounding his fake Twitch hype train. In April 1st, 2024, Jason became the first Twitch streamer with 100.
Hold up. I'm sorry, I gotta call this out. This is the latest controversy, and we're looking at an article from April 3rd, 2024? Press X to doubt?
Hype train. In April 1st, 2024,
I feel like we're just tacking this onto the end of the video because we don't know how else to end it. We didn't know where else to put this in the video.
For those who don't know, a hype train is a supersized celebration when community members unite to support a streamer they love. It'll kick off when there's a spike in support events like subscriptions or bits from different viewers.
I'm familiar with hype trains, thank you.
His hype train completed at level 106 with over 54,000 gifted subs and 8.2 million bits, earning...
Yeah, that thing I said about him being a millionaire? Do some math on how much money he must have made from this one hype train, why don't you? And then get back to me if you disagree.
Exclusive emotes for participants. But in July 2025, a leaked screenshot surfaced showing...
Oh, July 2025. Okay, so I guess it is more recent then.
Discord DMs between Jason and his head moderator Kronos during the April 1st Twitch Giga Train, showing that they were boosting it themselves. In the leaked messages, Jason allegedly broke down how donating in bulk gives a high return to the streamer, and also asked if Kronos had made any purchases yet. Not only that, the DM also revealed how Jason coordinated with Kronos about artificially boosting the hype train, to which Kronos said did 50,000 bits at 20 seconds left. And when Jason asked about the alt account he used, Kronos answered, "Serendipitous Bean, where's the beef?" Which is the exact amount of bits donated from the same account they mentioned during his stream.
Serendipitous Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate.
IRL friend, by the way.
What you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
And when...
Holy paid chatter, Batman. You're so cool and informative, and there's not many big streamers that are just so awesome and principled like you are. My God.
Confronted, Jason tried his usual deflection tactics.
It is absolutely not against TOS to have somebody use their own money to buy subs and bits for the channel if they want to. That in no way was triggered by me, nor was he compensated for that or reimbursed for it.
And again,
what a fucking PR answer that sounded like. Also, anytime you're gonna be like leaning on like, no, it's not against TOS, or like, you know, this thing that I did isn't technically illegal. I feel like I feel like when you make those sorts of arguments, oftentimes you're kind of outing yourself as like, well, I can't say that what I did was morally right. So what I'm going to do instead is talk about how I didn't break any rules.
Was overwhelmingly negative, with comments like, bro's a hacker for Blizzard but can't keep his Discord on a separate monitor. Pirate faked all his reputation. He deserves the full downfall now that people have discovered it is fake.
People leaking chats is it's so crazy that shit still happens. Like, it's not hard to avoid doing that as a streamer. It's really not. And so many big content creators still cause problems for themselves by leaking shit when they just so easily avoidable.
And just like his voice and his coding skills, his biggest accomplishment was also built on lies, and every single thing that made him famous turned out to be outright fake. If you like this video, you'll probably enjoy these ones as well.
I did like this video.
Subscribe.
I did like this video. I might check out some more from this channel. So yeah, kind of like I was saying at the outset of starting the video was you know, I didn't know that there would be I didn't know what all was going to be covered in this video, but I was hoping that it would be like a pretty good overview, and I feel like it was. I feel like there were things that I got reminded of that were fun. I feel like there were certain lenses that we got to look at things through that I maybe didn't before. There were some things in here that I definitely like wasn't super familiar with prior to watching the video, like especially like the one thing that was like most obvious in that regard was like the clip with his dad for him forgetting his dad's birthday, which again, it was so crazy that his response to that was just kind of laugh about it, like, oh, I'm a shitty son, haha. Wild. But yeah, this was a good video. This was a fun video. One thing though, I think that a couple things though, even though they showed the Dr. K clips even though they showed video clips from the Dr. K video, they didn't show any of the like actual clips with like any parts of the conversation. And I feel like there were probably some fun bits from that. No, man, maybe I should watch that. I don't know. I said that about the XQC thing with Dr. K as well. I said that I should consider watching that. So maybe this is another time where I'm like, maybe I need to start watching some Dr. K stuff on the channel. It could be fun. But, and then another thing was, what else? There was something else I was going to say. Oh, the thing with the Stop Killing Games initiative as well. Wasn't it also revealed that like he was working on a live service game at the time? And that was part of the reason he came out against the Stop Killing Games initiative was because what he was interpreting, whether it was accurate or not, he was interpreting parts of the initiative as being detrimental to live service games, which, by the way, a lot of live service games are like, especially in these days, a lot of live service games are like gacha games, which are known to be like very predatory. So like, not exactly the worst thing to go after those sorts of games and companies behind those games, IMO. But it was also the case that I think it came out that he was in the process of working on a live service game with somebody, and so there was like an actual motive, like again to that one point that was made earlier about like, you know, what was this guy's name, Ross, where he said that like, I don't know if Pirate's lying, you know, with intent or just because he's an idiot, more or less. I think the reason that he was even like implying that it might be the case that he's doing it intentionally was because it came out that like he was concerned that this might have an adverse effect on one of the next projects that he was working on. But that might have been with that group that he ended up having to pull out of because of all of his controversy. So I don't know. And then yeah, what else? Okay, so I mentioned the So again, I feel like there's definitely some things missing, just because once this guy started causing problems, he just didn't fucking stop. And there's been like this video came out recently, but like I'm pretty sure that more people are still making videos on PirateSoftware, and I'm curious if they are all recap videos or if there is more stuff going on with them. And so if you're somebody who's actually watching this video and you're watching all the way to the end, let me know if you would like to see me like go back and watch some of the older videos about everything like as it was happening, like in the moment sort of thing. Let me know if there's anything that's come out more recently that you want to see me watch. That one guy, Quinthio, I think, that I said I've seen, has made like a bunch of videos about PirateSoftware. I'm pretty sure he put out another video somewhat recently, maybe even a couple videos somewhat recently. Let me know if you think I should watch some of those. Let me know if you think I should watch any of the Dr. K stuff, either with PirateSoftware or with XQC or like any of those other videos that I mentioned a few minutes ago. And otherwise, yeah, I had fun with this. I hope you had fun with this. I hope you enjoyed it, revisiting what all happened, or at least some of what all happened with PirateSoftware, and why he went from being the internet's darling to being so despised. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and until I see you in the next one, take care. Bye.